When it comes to guys like Jared Allen, Mo Bamba, Miles Turner, Jackson Hayes, some of the great bigs that have played here recently, how do you think that impacts someone like Kai Jones when they start thinking about the recent history with this team?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Lowell, is every player is his own man, and every player has his own backstory. Kai, for instance, got cut from his team multiple times in grade school, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. Kind of like Jackson, was late to the game in terms of the progression. Mo and Jarrett were thought of as big-time players for a long time before they got here. So everybody's different. The one thing about Kai that really separates him from those guys, particularly, in terms of his approach towards the game, is he really thinks of himself like a guard. And if you watch him out there working out, he does extra workouts every day. He's getting better and better at all those guard skills. But it's an evolution, and it takes time. And sometimes you can do it 1-on-0 or even 1-on-1 in a workout setting, and it takes time to get to the point where you're 5-on-5, being able to go do it on a regular basis. But over the course of this season, he's made major progress, and there's no reason that will not continue.
And we'll get into the clickers in just a moment, but you talk about him thinking himself as a guard, and when we get to those, a lot of them are going to be him out on the perimeter. But I want to go back to something you said a few weeks ago about Kai Jones and his work ethic. I mean, you basically compared it to not a lot of guys that are around the game of basketball at his size.
I don't know if I've coached a guy at 6'11" that's worked as hard as him. I don't think that I have. There's a lot of guards that just love to live in the gym. But at 6'11", Kai's ability, he gets in there early. He'll come back late at night. And he really, really loves to get in there and work on his game.
Why is that different? Why is it different for big guys compared to the guards?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, most bigs, they grow up.
It's easier?
No, they play the game because they're big. And there's not necessarily, and this is a generalization for sure, but there's not necessarily the same passion at a young age. These guys are at a young age that, guys that are 6 feet tall have for the game, because maybe it comes a little easier. Maybe the things that they need to do on the court are not necessarily things that, they want to go on their own and work on. But Kai, again, he's got a really good backstory, unique story. And one of the things that he's learned is you have to put in deposits to get better.
And we're seeing that with the work ethic. You've also mentioned, as we go to our first clicker, probably the most gifted natural shot blocker on the roster right now. Break it down in terms of how he gets to these blocks, because on this one, he's not really in the play. It looks like OSU has an easy dunk.
Well, he's got really good instincts. So here, you see on this play, he's out there defending on the perimeter, and he does a nice job of just understanding, okay, where's the play going? All right, so as the dribble goes away from him, he recovers, and then he goes and blocks the shot. And that's when his length and athleticism takes over.
And that's something that some guys, you just can't coach. They got it, and Kai certainly has it. Then against K-State, here's another.
Again, this is one of my favorite clips in that he gets isolated on their best player, Xavier Sneed, and a guy who's a senior and an experienced player. And how many times, Lowell, have we seen seniors kind of take younger guys to school? And Kai, the point we've really made to him, and he's gotten better and better at this, still has some room to grow, is when you're in a stance, you don't gamble and you don't reach, now your athleticism and your length can take over. And that's exactly what happens here. Sneed tries to drive on him, he moves his feet, and then at the end, he goes and blocks the shot, which is huge.
I mean, so that's next level footwork there from Kai Jones.
Yeah, and it's discipline. It's great discipline. Here you see him again around the basket. We call that a jump wall, and that's a terrific job by him jumping, creating offense for us on the other end.
And difficult to be able to do that without fouling in that situation?
Well, the tendency for younger players is to go up and swipe down. But if you saw on that play, Kai went straight up in the air, and when the shot was taken at the very end, came and got it. That was a textbook jump wall.
All right, let's go into his defensive positioning, how he moves around the court, gets into the right spot to make plays.
Well, he's learning, and he last year played the 5. He's playing more 4 for us. So defensively, he's on the perimeter, as you see. And now he's got to move his feet, stay in front of guys. But again, the good thing on that play was he never really lunged or gambled, and then he put himself in position at the end to use his athleticism, and that's where your natural gifts can take over, and he's getting better and better at doing that. Here you see him battling around the basket. This guy's got some size and strength on him, but Kai uses his length and forces the miss, which is huge.
Then you want a guy.
Look at him run at the end.
It runs like a gazelle. You love to see that. And he was a track and field guy, right?
Yes,
When he was not playing basketball, cut by those.
So the backstory there is his influence when he was young is in track and field. And, of course, being from the Bahamas, it is a huge deal there, much bigger deal than basketball. And so he was good at it. You know, he was much better at it than he was at basketball when he was young. And he still runs like a deer. But obviously, he's gained an incredible love for the game of basketball, and he knows that running the floor is a big part of it.
And we've seen guys, especially young guys with some size, even if they're fast, it's one deal to be able to get to the basketball, completely different to want to be able to get there. And we see him with that want to go hunt the basketball.
For sure. I mean, and that's one of the big keys is just having an aggressiveness and saying, okay, I want to go get that ball. He's getting better and better at rebounding. Here you see him fly in there and grab it and squeeze it. You know, it's really, really important as a young player to learn to go grab the ball. I know that sounds basic. Here on offense now, the shot goes up. He does a good job using aggressiveness. And on that play, Lowell, he was just longer and more active. You know, sometimes it comes down to that. And especially around the basket, we need that from guys like him.
This play's awesome.
This is awesome. Yeah, here you see him on defense. Again, he's playing the 4 spot, so he's got to rotate. He gets a steal, and then watch him run here. That's where you let your athleticism take over. But, you know, the thing about it, Lowell, is Kai's a guy who the combination of his work ethic and then his understanding of I've got to own the challenge in front of me right now. I'm playing maybe a different position than I played before. That's what he wants to do. And he's really sunk his teeth into that and owned that. Now he's moved into the starting lineup, and it's exciting the growth that he's making.
To what extent do you talk to Kai or any guy in this situation about their upside, about what they can be if they do everything they need to do?
Well, I think he's keenly aware of that. We talk about it a lot. You know, it's definitely part of, you know, his mindset of how good of a player can I be long term if I continue to get better? You know, we talked about Jarrett at the beginning of the segment and how much he's grown. Remember, he would be a senior in college right now.
That's insane.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Well, Kai's a guy, if you fast forward 5, 7, 10 years, you're going to see a guy who's probably 240 pounds. You're going to see a guy who can really, really shoot from outside in live play at full speed. And you're going to see a guy who's a heck of a ball handler as well, because he works on those things. And it's just a matter of continuing to put in deposits every day, and he'll get a little bit better with time. It's showing on the floor, but it's really, really going to show long term. And
you spend a lot of time with the freshmen. They have almost a basketball class outside of practice where they go through really your coursework, and it's individualized. So with Kai Jones, you mentioned making those deposits. What else do you stress with Kai when you sit down, you have those individual talks?
Well, the biggest thing is receptivity to all the stuff that's going to help you be successful. And it's really easy to be receptive and focused on growth when there's no results. But we play 2 games a week. So sometimes results can get in the way of, they can obscure your focus on being receptive to what you need to do to grow. And he's done a terrific job of not allowing that. He said, hey, even though I had a tough game or maybe I had a great game, I still have to focus on, okay, what do I need to do next? And how can I take what the coaches are giving me and allow it to make me better?